What is up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing here a deck profile for the Rapid Strike Mienshao deck. Now this is not necessarily a Mienshao deck, obviously it's not necessarily the main focus here, but it is a Rapid Strike card that I think will be technically our primary attacker, but we are having dual attackers in this particular build, so we'll get to that other card later, but for now I think this is definitely going to be very interesting because I've never actually done a Rapid Strike build yet, so let's just see how things actually turn out, and hopefully it all actually works out for you guys when you actually do the testing with this particular deck itself. But before I get started, I would like to remind you guys to drop a like, share, comment and subscribe, but just consider it. Don't have to actually do it or anything like that, it just really helps out the channel. But with that being said, let's begin. So starting off over here, we're going to be playing here the Mienshao and the Mienfu. Obviously these guys are the main Evo lines of it all. We're only playing 3 copies of each because we didn't really need to maximize them out. They easily return themselves into the deck after their attack, so you could easily reuse them anyway. There is absolutely no need to increase it any more than this. You could even drop it down to 2 copies of each if you actually wanted to as well. Next up, we're playing here 4 copies of Phalanx. Phalanx is a really interesting card because obviously it's a Rapid Strike card as well, making it really viable for the whole deck, but its attack is actually quite decent, dealing 20 damage for each of your Rapid Strike Pokemon in play. Now of course there's going to be a certain limitation, being that you can only have 6 at most, but keep in mind for 2 energy to deal 6 damage, or 120 damage that is definitely quite decent as well, so I definitely do like this card, and for basic Pokemon it's quite nice. Next up, you guys already expected this, but we're playing Octillery. Just 2 copies will do the job. You essentially just want to have some kind of card to search out all of your Rapid Strike cards, and having 2 copies of Octillery will definitely be fantastic. And yes, if you actually have both of them out on the field, you could actually search for 2 cards. It doesn't have to be restricted to just this alone. Next up, we have over here Galarian Zigzagoon, just 2 copies of it. It's easy to bounce back, it's easy to just play down and ping your opponents for 10 damage, and I think it's definitely more crucial than ever in this particular deck given how little damage you're actually dealing with for your main Pokemon. Moving on, we're going to be playing here 4 copies of Quick Ball, but also 4 copies of Level Ball. If you guys didn't already notice, the Mienshao is actually 90 HP, making it really great to actually search out via the Level Ball. So that's quite fantastic, and it makes this deck quite a searchable deck as well. So the flexibility there is definitely fantastic. As a result, we definitely have to play 4 copies of each. Next up, we're playing here 2 copies of Evolution Incense. I really wish I could play more, but we are kind of tight on space, but this is actually quite enough already. I mean, we have 5 different evolution cards. We have the Mienshao and we also have the Octillery, but that's really all we need, and even then the Mienshao could easily just be searched out via Level Ball anyway, so 2 Evolution Incense might not be too less. Alright, so for a bit of board manipulation, we want to be able to reuse certain cards, such as the Zigzagoons, or be able to switch the Pokemon we need, such as Phalanx, and sometimes Phalanx to Phalanx itself. Very nice there, but we have here Scoop Up Net, 2 copies, and 4 copies of Switch. I think this definitely works out best for the deck itself. You could readjust the ratios of these two, but I like it the way it is. Next up, we're playing an assortment of cards here. We're playing the 1 Ordinary Rod, Recycle of Cards, Tool Scrapper, because we want to get rid of certain cards that are quite pesky that our opponent's actually using. Fan of Waves, because a lot of people are now playing Special Energy, so if anything, 2 copies of Fan of Waves might not even be enough, but I've been adjusting and testing out different ratios. So far 2 has been okay, but I might think about increasing it. Next up, we have over here the Rapid Strike Scroll of Swirls. I thought it was nice just to deal some extra damage onto the opponent, but you know what, it just turns out that this deck could definitely have quite a bit of versatility to it that is definitely making it really interesting. You'll definitely have very different attacks, very different dynamics actually occurring with this deck, given the great variety of cards we're able to actually play here. Next up, we're playing here Tower of Waters. Really interesting to see us actually playing stadium cards. It's quite rare, but The fact that we could actually just, I guess, make the retreat cost 2 less for Rapid Strike Pokemon definitely makes it really fantastic. So playing 2 of these definitely nice. And obviously the 2 copies of Rapid Strike Style Mustard is also just really fantastic for the deck, definitely works out really well here. Alright, so moving on to some more Focus supporters, we are playing here 2 copies of Karina's Focus. Definitely a really good card to, I guess, reload your hand, which is definitely something that is much needed here. We are going to be utilizing all of our resources really quickly, particularly Mienshao. We're just searching it out and then it gets shuffled back into the deck again. Karina's Focus is definitely going to be needed here. We're depleting our hands really quickly. We also have your boss's orders acting as great control over the opponent's monsters, or their Pokemon that is, and that way you could actually just knock out whichever one you actually want to and gain control in that particular manner. And finally, we're going to be playing here 2 copies of Marnie as well as 4 copies of Research. Marnie is just great. It disrupts your opponents, but it also allows you to get you the hand you actually need. But in this particular case, since you're depleting your hand, by using Marnie to be able to draw 5 more cards is definitely just really amazing, so it definitely helps out. Research is also a great way to get out the cards from your actual deck as soon as possible, since you're just shuffling them back into the deck itself, the Mienshao that is, and you want this deck to be as fast as possible, and these are the cards that I always actually have come to mind when it comes to being very fast and trying to get your Pokemon out on the board as much as possible, or at least trying to empty out your deck and get all your resources. Next up, I'm playing over here 4 copies of the Rapid Strike Energy. Rapid Strike Energy essentially provides 2 energy, so definitely fantastic. Provides 1 water and 1, I guess, fighting energy, which in this particular case, since Mienshao requires at least 1 fighting energy, it does work with this particular special energy, and sadly twin energy just doesn't work out in the deck, so to have this is definitely a lifesaver for the deck itself. But we're also playing 1 copy of the Capture Energy. I believe the card actually works out really amazingly for the deck itself, just getting your Pokemon onto the benches quickly, and that way you don't have to worry about anything else. But I'm playing just the 1 copy. It's the only one I have, but it's still definitely enough for you to actually just get the ball rolling. And finally, we're going to be playing here the 3 Fighting Energy. Just great support for the deck, definitely works out, definitely really amazing. But that's essentially it for today's deck profile, so I do hope you guys enjoyed this particular one. This was definitely a really fun deck, definitely very dynamic, so I hope you all have fun with this. But I hope you all have a great day. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you all next time.